Sir Winston Leonard Spencer Churchill was a British leader, soldier, and writer who served as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom from 1940 to 1945, and again from 1951 to 1955, during World War II. Churchill was born into a wealthy, aristocratic family in Oxfordshire. Churchill was born on November 30, 1874, at Blenheim Palace in Oxfordshire, his family's ancestral home. As a direct descendant of the first Duke of Marlborough, he was a member of the British aristocracy on his father's side. In 1873, his father, Lord Randolph Churchill, was elected Member of Parliament (MP) for Woodstock, representing the Conservative Party. Jenny, his mother, was the daughter of a wealthy American businessman named Leonard Jerome. Churchill started boarding at St. George's School in Ascot, Berkshire, when he was 7 years old, although he was not scholarly and had poor behavior. His academic performance improved after he relocated to Brunswick School in Hove in 1884. He narrowly passed the entrance exam for Harrow School in April 1888, when he was 13 years old. His father wanted him to train for a military career, so he spent his final 3 years at Harrow in army form. He was admitted to the Royal Military Academy, Sandhurst, on his third attempt after 2 failed tries. In September 1893, he was admitted as a cadet in the cavalry. Churchill's father died a month after he graduated from Sandhurst in January 1895. In 1895, he enlisted in the British Army and served in British India, the Anglo-Sudan War, and the Second Boer War, garnering notoriety as a war correspondent and author of books on his experiences. In 1900, he was elected as a Conservative MP, but in 1904, he switched to the Liberals. Churchill served as President of the Board of Trade and Home Secretary in H. H. Asquith's Liberal government, championing prison reform and workers' social security. During World War I, he was First Lord of the Admiralty and oversaw the Gallipoli campaign, but after it failed, he was demoted to Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster. In November 1915, he resigned and spent 6 months on the Western Front with the Royal Scots Fusiliers. He returned to government in 1917, serving as Minister of Munitions, Secretary of State for War, Secretary of State for Air, and Secretary of State for the Colonies, managing the Anglo-Irish Treaty and British foreign policy in the Middle East under David Lloyd George. He served as Chancellor of the Exchequer in Stanley Baldwin's Conservative government after 2 years out of Parliament, returning the pound sterling to the gold standard at its pre-war parity in 1925, a decision widely viewed as causing deflationary pressure and weakening the UK economy. During his wilderness years, in the 1930s, when he was out of office, Churchill spearheaded the charge for British rearmament to resist the growing menace of militarism in Nazi Germany. He was reappointed First Lord of the Admiralty at the onset of World War II. He succeeded Neville Chamberlain as Prime Minister in May 1940. Churchill established a national government and led Britain's participation in the Allied war effort against the Axis powers, which ended in victory in 1945. He became leader of the opposition when the Conservatives were defeated in the 1945 general election. He repeatedly warned of a Iron Curtain of Soviet influence in Europe during the burgeoning Cold War with the Soviet Union and supported European integration. He lost the election in 1950, but was re-elected in 1951. His second tenure was dominated by foreign issues, particularly Anglo-American ties and the British Empire's survival. His government prioritized housing construction at home and completed the creation of a nuclear weapon, begun by his predecessor. Churchill resigned as Prime Minister in 1955 due to bad health, but he remained an MP until 1964. He was granted a state funeral when he died in 1965. Churchill, widely regarded as one of the most important people of the 20th century, remains popular in the United Kingdom and the Western world, where he is viewed as a victorious wartime commander who played a key part in protecting Europe's liberal democracy against the development of fascism. He's also known for being a social reformer. However, he has been chastised for various wartime incidents as well as his imperialist viewpoints. In 1953, Churchill received the Nobel Prize in Literature for his historical and biographical writings. He was a prolific painter as well. In 1950, he was defeated in the election, but in 1951, he was re-elected. Foreign affairs dominated his second term, particularly Anglo-American relations and the survival of the British Empire. His government prioritized domestic housing construction while also finishing the development of a nuclear weapon begun by his predecessor. Due to ill health, Churchill resigned as Prime Minister in 1955, but he remained an MP until 1964. When he died in 1965, he was given a state funeral.
If you like our content, please like and subscribe, and do watch out for more.